Greetings, Judah. DFG Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, how many of you guys are aware that we are not to be a part of the selection of the President of the United States? From a biblical perspective, I'm talking about from the Word of Yah, from our book, that we were instructed by Yah not to participate, or Yah, let me say it the right way, that Yah disapproves of us participating in the political process. Now, let me say this right off front. To some of you guys who have these Christians, which I am not a part of, but many of you guys, have Christians in your family, so-called Bible, toters or whatever, even Bible believers, who will tell you that, Yah absolutely demands that they participate, in the election processes. Well, you want to share this video with them because here is proof evidence that is absolutely not the will of Yah for us to participate in this folly. Now, don't get me wrong. If these so-called believers calling themselves Christians, wolves in sheep clothing, that's what I'm going to call them if they don't obey the word of Yah. If these so-called, Christians reject what's being said, just remember, they are showing you once and for all clearly that they're not only not unbelievers, but that they are deceivers, walking and pretending to be in the way of Yah. In all actuality, they have embraced the ways of the heathens. Now, you heard me talk before about the whole thing about not being a part of these election processes, and if we were going to be a part of them, we should be gaining something for that participation. In other words, we're not there because we're supporting them. We were there because we were getting something that was owed to our ancestors, if it was Yah's timing for Jubilee or restoration, and that if it was not, then we would stand and we would stand down. So like Trump told the Proud Boys, that we would stand down and not participate. And even that, I will tell you, as I continue to discover and search the word of Yah, we shouldn't even be participating even in that regard. If they're going to do the right thing, let Yah move upon their spirit and cause them to do it. And still we are instructed by Yah that only Yah should we be serving. And Yah has made that clear throughout the words that we should not be siding up with anyone that he has not instructed us to side up with. Even in terms of talking about the Gentiles and the non-believers, all right? Esau, Edom, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Hamites, and the Jebusites, and all the Ikes, and the Ishish too, I might add. Let me not forget them. All of the heathen. God made it perfectly clear. We should have no partaker, no interaction with them. We should not be building any kind of camps and families with these people. And I know many of these folk will come out here, and tell you, well, once they join up with Yah, then he said, that's not what the word said. Yah said don't reject them, that they can be, amongst the camp, but we're still supposed to abide by the laws, and according to the laws, we are to befriend them and we can ally with them, but we're not supposed to intersect with them unless they're part of the tribes. And let me say this for clarity purposes. All light skin ain't white skin, just like all dark skin ain't Judah or Hebrew, all right? Because some of us look like them, and of course some of them look like us. But you'll know that because Yah said you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. And not from their learning, just from their innate behavior. Their natural behavior will indicate to you if they're people of Yah. And if they truly are people of Yah, just like, all of our people will recognize Yah when they see Yah. And you said, well, how you say that, DFG? Well, didn't Yeshua say, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they would not follow? That's how I know that. And when they don't follow the ways of Yah, they're not Yah's, and they can't learn Yah's way. You can study the history of Yah so that you can have an understanding of who you are. But as far as being the people of Yah, you can't study to be the people of Yah. You either are or you're not. And then the heathens can study our ways and align themselves up with us. But if some of us look like the heathens, then they're automatically going to embrace all the truth. The more truth they get, the more truth they're going to want. So if any of these people who look like they're part of those tribes, if they don't innately line up and join up and identify and pronounce boldly in front of anyone who's what would you say? Who are misdiagnosing who they are. In other words, assuming that they're white when they're not, or Asian or whatever the hell, and they're not. Then they would boldly tell them, no, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. No, not the Jewish. Those are Khazarians. Those are Ukrainians. Those are West Russians. Those are not us. Those are fake ones. They are the synagogue of Satan. You read about them, in Revelation. No, not the issues. No, we're talking about blood-breaded, blood-born Hebrew Israelites of the 12 tribes of Jacob. And most of the Negroes here in so-called America are either Judah or Levi. Those tribes. But of course, as you remember what Isaiah 1:3 said, he said the ox knows his master, and the mule or the ass knows his owner. ass, a mule. Ass knows his owner, a donkey, knows his owner. But my people, they don't know who the hell they are. They're lost. What a heavy indictment for y'all to place on us. And it's tricky because most of us have been tricked into embracing this sorcerous religion called Christianity, worshiping crosses, wood, sticks, images. Well, y'all tell us we're not supposed to make no image or no likeness of him. Not, he said that from the ground, from the water, from the air, birds, male, female. He warned us not to make any kind of images. None. Any of those things were abomination unto him. That's what the book tells us. So how can you be a person of Yah, a family, a part of the body of Yah, obedient unto Yah, according to what the Christians say? I mean, we all know good and so well they're worshiping rosary beads, crosses, fish emblems, portraits, white angels, black Jesus, Caesar Borgia Jesus, homosexual Jesus, praying to rocks, kissing bricks, all kind of crazy foolishness. Walking around big giant stones, Islam, lost this, they can out insanity. Yah said it should be nothing out there because he made all these things. So how can we see him in the thing that we should see him in everything, but we should never limit him to a thing made by his hands. And I know I'm kind of getting off, subject matter, sort of. But sometimes you got to identify, the wicked amongst us. You got to identify the wheat versus the weeds, because they grow together sometimes. And if you're not careful, the weeds will choke out the wheat to the point that all your wheat will die. And see, that's what's happening to us, Judah, because a lot of us have become weeds, and a lot of us have tolerated weeds, the believer, and said, well, it don't matter, give them time, we'll work with them, never realizing, no, it's no working with the enemy. We don't sleep with the enemy, as Yah has warned us. We don't break bread with the enemy. Because when we do that, we start eating filthy pigs, we start eating water roaches called crabs, and shrimp, water maggots, shrimp. We start eating all these detestable bottom feeders, filth eaters, rodents. Again, we start to take in our bodies, and then look what it does to us, Judah, as a people. The sickest people in the nation are Judah. But if you go back and you look at their diet, there's no wonder why. That's why Yah said for us not to partake, with them, and don't celebrate their holidays, their customs, their culture, as many will be doing tomorrow. Many will be doing it tomorrow. And it will tell you that this is all about family gatherings, and this is all about thanking God for a meal. That's a lie. That's no different lie than saying that Halloween is Harvest Day, and that and Christmas is about Jesus. using their white word. I mean, their devilish words. You're putting lipstick on a pig. Still a goddamn pig. But that's what they'll tell you. But they won't tell you about the massacre of the Pequot, tribes. Some of our brothers and sisters, I might add. Here in Turtle Island, 1637, my memory serves me correctly, how a mass slaughter by Europeans slaughtered these people, and they changed that story and made it a lie and pretended like the Pilgrims and our people, the Europeans and our people got along. That's a big, flat, juicy lie. How could they have gotten along? You know basic history with the trail of tears, the stealing, the treaty breaking of these people against our people. Well, exactly, when did they get along? And again, if you go back to 1600s, they most certainly weren't getting along. Because what our people found out was about Esau, Edom, that they were a bunch of lazy, incest-filled, demon-worshipping Christians, full of the occult, full of diseases, highly contagious, and murderous spirits in their hearts. Oh, and notorious liars. And so when our people realized that when these people had come into our lands, we moved away from these people because these people were corrupting our people. And we knew what the laws of the Most High had said and told us. We were studying the book, the word, like you should be doing right now. And so we knew to separate ourselves from them and get away from them. But some of our kind still made treaties with them. And what ended up happening? These people turned on our people, started robbing their fields, burning their fields, kidnapping their children, molesting their wives, molesting their men. And then when we put up a wall against them, they brought in gunpowder and every kind of advanced weaponry, and they slaughtered hundreds and hundreds of our relatives. And turned around and made that a day of thanksgiving for the victory of slaughtering our people. And now you're celebrating it. You're celebrating the massacre of your own brothers and sisters. And you don't even have the intelligence, the wisdom to even know that. Yet that truth is obvious truth. All you have to do is vet what I said. You can go do the research yourself. And many of you want, because you want to continue after the ways of the heathen. In essence, you want their representations to validate your citizenry. Isn't that why many of you wanted Obama? So finally we can show white people we just like black people, just like white people, and a black man can be president too. And it's such a wonderful thing, and we were crying and we were celebrating and we were like, oh, I never thought I'd live to see the day that a black man could be a white man in America. That's how much we lusted after the heathen and how much we still lust after the ways of the heathens. Now let me get you down to the word. Let me get back to where this message began. And you should share this. I think you should. I mean, it's your choice ultimately, but I think you should. I'm going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 8. I'll read a little bit, and I'm going to get to I'm going to get to the thick of it in a minute. The gist is what I want to say. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel, our people. And Samuel was a prophet. Now the name of the firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second was Abiah, and they were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways. See, sometimes the father can be clean, but their children sometimes can still be wicked. And I say this to a lot of you out there, Israel. A lot of you guys are feeling some kind of way because your children has gone after the ways of the heathens. They don't study the word. They claim that they don't believe in the book. That's the white man book. They don't believe in Yah. They don't believe in the Creator. And many of you are feeling some kind of way about that, like somehow you failed. No, you didn't. Samuel was one of the most loyal prophets, in the history of our people. Samuel was called by Yah when he was a little bitty boy. And he stayed faithful to Yah unto death. Samuel did. Yet he had two sons, and both of their asses were wicked. So don't let that condemn you. Sometimes you just got to cut them wicked ones off out of your household. Just turn, look the other way. Not look the other way and ignore them. I'm talking about shun them. You know, that's another story that's very similar to that story. And that's the story of the prodigal son in Luke, I want to say chapter 18. Where this boy got all his stuff and ran off and living like a wild man and ended up in the pig pen. The filth of the pig, again, that many of you are consuming all the time, and especially on tomorrow, and particularly on tomorrow. And how he ran off. His father didn't chase him. His father didn't go after him. His father said, look, take your shit and go. You know, I hope the best for you, but I ain't following you out there. And I'm not going to compromise myself to appease you. It's not on me, it's on you what happens. And everything that happened to him, he lost every damn thing. He was sleeping in a pig's pen. And his father never went to rescue him. Father stayed in his position, stayed right where he was supposed to be, wherever Yah had placed him. And later that boy came into his right mind, as the book says, and he went back home. And his father, again, we're not talking about not loving them. We're just simply saying that we don't compromise Yah, you know, for our children. And again, I need to say that with all clarity. We don't compromise Yah for our children. One more time. You do not compromise your relationship with Yah for your children. Boy came back and talking about the prodigal son and repented, and father was loving and reunited him into the family, and and the story ends well. But in Samuel's case, it did not end that way. His sons were wicked. And this is what his sons did. And his sons they didn't walk in the ways of Yah, but they went after money. Isn't that something? How many we know these people chasing money? How many people that we know so-called in the entertainment world were brought up in so-called Christian households, and they were very talented, and the next thing you know, they're out there selling their souls to Baal. Justin Bieber's of the world, Denzel Washington's of the world. And many of them, Kurt Franklin, were brought up the right way, and they turned their backs on Yah for filthy money. And of course, you see some stay in the so-called faith, and they're still in the Boulets and Freemasons, secret societies, and to stay in a position of prestige, to stay in a position of power, to keep themselves monetized by manipulation and corruption. They stayed there. They're chasing after filthy lucre. So they can start off right and go wrong. And so once saved, always saved, that's a goddamn heathenistic lie. Y'all say you're going to be judged by every damn thing you do. How the hell you can stay a wicked ass devil and then go before Yah and get judged? If he's going to let you do whatever you want to do, then there is no judgment. Yet the book says that he's going to separate the sheep from the goat. And many of these wicked ones I'm talking about are going to go before Yah talking about all these great things they did in the name of Yah. And Yah say, you get away from me, you lying devil. I never knew you. And some of these demons are wicked ones, of people, your friends, your cousins, your neighbors, or your preachers, your elders, your evangelists. Some of them are going to be the same people, and y'all going to say, they're going to tell them, well, I was an evangelist. I was a minister. I was a preacher. I was a teacher. I was all these things. Although y'all say you need no man to teach you. That's what the Rahuk is for. But you don't have to get into that. He going to say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I never knew. Some of you claim they cast out devils. They ain't cast out no damn devils. That's all fake and chacoonery. You know what I'm saying? It was Satan, playing around with Satan, because Satan's house ain't divided. The devil can't cast out no damn devils. Don't believe that shit. Excuse my language, but they don't believe that shit. A devil can't cast out no damn devils. That's all black magic going on. You think you seeing something you ain't seeing. That's why them devils come right back there. And that wicked one, sooner or later, like Brian Houston with Hillsong, the big old church in Australia, got kicked out for his indiscretions. One of the biggest ministries out there. But if you watch the way they worship in there, it was a rock concert. Satan is Satan. He can't cast himself out. He can only cover it up for a period of time until Yah decides to bring him down, just like he did with Pharaoh. He said, I raised Pharaoh up just to kill his wicked ass. Talking about the one that had our elders in Mizraim or Egypt in oppression the first 400 years, not the second 400 years. We're still fulfilling that right now today. But anyway, they went after filthy money and took bribes, and they perverted judgment. You know what perverted judgment means? They were corrupt. They were corrupt officials. Isn't that something? These so-called men of the Most High, the sons of a major man of the Most High, were a bunch of corrupted, bribe-taking, perverted individuals. You know what perverted is? That means they're dealing in child sex trafficking, slave trafficking, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, wealth stealing, like the Obama administration did to Gaddafi, lied on the man so they can go in and steal all of his gold, robbed him. The Bush administration on Hussein, what's his name? The Iraqi one, president. They lied on him, said he had all these weapons of mass destruction, nothing there, but yet they took all of his gold, all of his oil, all of his riches, all of his wealth, even his palaces. That's what Esau does. He's a liar. He's a father of lies. Oh, and he's a murderer. Let us not forget. Very dangerous demon there. But they perverted judgment. In other words, they perverted the judgment over the people, I might add. They had the people doing wickedly too, just like all of these religions are doing. See, these religions are perverted. And if you're in them, you're being perverted because you're chasing after the way of Baal, not the way of Yah. Because if you were chasing the way of the Yah, you would have come out of these places a long time ago. You weren't ever supposed to go in them in the first place. Goes on, he says, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel and said unto Ramah, and they said to him, behold, you are old, and your sons walk not in your ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. So there you go. See, now the people are saying, we want a president, we want to participate, in the election campaign. Everybody else is a part of, a Democrat or Republican or independents or libertarian or whatever. We want to be like them. This is what they say. They judged because you had some wretched, men amongst us. The people decided to say, well, let's just go do what all the other nations are doing. Everybody else have an electoral process, a democratic process. Why shouldn't we? So you see all of these wicked folk, in D.C., all these wicked newscasts. I'm talking about the so-called black ones using their word. The copper-colored ones who out there, encouraging you, to come out and vote and be loyal to the Democratic Party or loyal to the Republican. All of them, every last one of them, are workers of iniquity, and they have been put in place to corrupt and guide you straight to hell. And I said, all of them that are encouraging you, my ancestors died for the right to vote. Our ancestors died for the right. Our ancestors didn't die for no damn right to vote. Our ancestors died, for the right to have justice. They have access. That's all equality meant to them. They wanted equal access to all the things, quite frankly, they were being denied access to. Had they not being denied access to, they wouldn't have gave a damn about voting. They weren't voting just for the sake of it, so they could participate in the election campaign or electoral campaign. People think that's not their intention. That's the lying doctrine that was pushed out there by corrupt, lying officials who were set in place to manipulate Judah so that Judah can side up with them and they can get the power they want, and then at the same time reject Judah and pay off the thieves, the ones who had perverted themselves, who had compromised themselves, as you just heard me say, so that they could get their little filthy money in the backroom deals and everything. I'm talking about the L. Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, this new one from Louisiana that's going to be advisor to the Bush campaign, Simone Stevens, all of these rotten devils. Every last one of them, male and female, are all bought and paid for double agents working for Satan. Wolves in sheep clothing. Now that includes Candace Owens. But can we continue on? And they said unto him, Samuel, they're talking, you are old and your sons walk not in the ways. Now make us a king to judge us like the heathens. So it says nations. But this thing displeased Samuel. Samuel's like, what? You got to be, are my ears deceiving me? You want to walk after the ways, you want to be like the heathens after all these things Yah has done for us and all these things Yah has warned us against doing. And now you want to turn back again and go back to the system of Egypt or Mizraim? Because remember, this was well after Moses. And the people had the law and they understood the law. And just like when Yah had brought them out of Egypt, first thing you know, when things didn't go their way, they wanted to go back to Egypt. And Yah destroyed their wicked asses then. And you would have thought by now, by a few generations later, that the people would have been solid and still in their resolve not to ever go back the way they had come from that was debt unto them. But no. Just like the scripture says, the pig go back to the mud and the dog go back to his own vomit. Isn't that what Yeshua said? He said the pig goes back to the mud, or the swine go back to the mud, and the dog goes back to his own vomit. And here is evidence of it again. But this thing displeased Samuel when they said this. Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto Yahuwah. So Samuel said, Yah, do you hear this? He said, Yah, do you hear what I'm hearing? Of course Yah heard it. How could Yah not hear it? These are the people of Yah. You're the people. I'm the people. Yah hears everything that's coming out of your mouth, and he's watching everything that you do. That all of us are doing. And Yah hearkened, and Yah said unto Samuel, hey, listen to the voice. Hey, you go ahead and listen to the voice of the people, and all that they say unto you. Isn't that something? Yah said, that's what you want? That's what I'm going to give you. Therefore, that's why we're at the bottom, because we've been anticipating in this folly for now, 70, 80, 90 years, or maybe even 100 plus years if you count the short period of time during the Reconstruction period when we were allowed to participate in their so-called, election processes. Well, Yah said, but ever since we got part of it, Yah has been destroying us over and over. And we're sitting there like, what are you talking about? Well, that ain't had nothing to do with Yah. You want to bet? Do you want to bet, Judah? Okay, I'm about to take your money. I don't want your money. You keep your filthy money. I'm going to just give you the word. That's all you really need. That's where your true wealth is. You just don't know it, many of you. And Yah said, hearken to the voice of the people and all that they say unto you. For they have not rejected you, Samuel. Now get this, guys. He said, Samuel, they're not rejecting you when they go to these elections and they start, participating in these electoral campaigns all over the country. He said, they're not rejecting you, Samuel, when you do that. He's telling all of us who are telling our people to stand down, don't participate in the way. He said, don't feel bad. They're not rejecting you, DFG, and so many others. Truth Unedited, Truth Unveiled, Open Diaries, some of the people I can think of right off the cuff. So they're not rejecting you. So don't take it personal. This is what he says. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Well, I'll be damned. I'm going to read that to you again. Yah says that when you are selecting a president or mayors or anybody to have authority over you, you're not, what you're doing is that you're selecting someone to be over you. And in the process of you selecting them to be over you, you are rejecting him. I think we need to revisit this verse one more time, just so you can go read it for yourself. And you say, well, that's old. There's no such thing in the Old Testament. Our book tells us Yah is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And Yah said to it, I am Yah, the creator, or Elohim. I change not. Heaven and earth will pass away before one jot or tittle of anything that I say will pass away. So don't tell me that this is non-void. You are a liar and the truth is not in you. You better repent of that. That's blasphemy. You're lying on Yah when you say that. That is blasphemy and that's unforgivable. So you better get that out of your mouth and repent this very second if that's what you thought are currently thinking. But you do what you want to do because you're in a state of rebellion probably anyway. He said, they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. And according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Egypt, even to this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also reject you. Now therefore hearken to their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that will reign over them. And that was Saul and all these other wicked ass kings to this very day that has kept us in a state of bondage. That's the consequence of participating in this so-called, political process for you, Judah and Levi. You didn't know that. And if you know it, then you're doubly guilty for it. Because there's one thing to know, but something totally else to know and not do. You're going to be held accountable for your ignorance, but you're going to get double reward for your knowledge and rejection when you knew the truth. The scripture says it's better to have never known the truth than to know the truth and to not do it. That's book as well. So I'm just saying to you guys, it's time to come out from among them, separate yourself. Why do you think they're going to make you the target of these vaccines? Why have they said that you're the target, you're the most susceptible, you're the most dangerous, even though there may be nothing wrong with you, that for you to come around, to come outside, to be in the general, have access to anything, you got to get vaccine. Why you first, Judah? Because see, that's the wicked kings have set themselves up that you have selected to be over you, and they're going to destroy you, and they're going to destroy your faith system. They're going to turn Yah against you, and you're going to be damned for eternity if you don't repent and come out from among them. So share this video. At the end of the day, they can decide for themselves, but at least you've been a witness. At least you can say, well, I did tell them, and I couldn't articulate it as well as DFG did, but hell, I did share it with them. So Yah will see that, and Yah will recognize me for that. And he shall. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. But as our brother Joshua said, y'all do whatever y'all want to do. But as for me and my house, we're going to do what thus says Yah. And he says, don't participate. We don't need no king. Yah is our king. We don't need no president. We don't need no leadership. We don't need no advocate. Yah is the king. Yah is the president. And Yeshua is the advocate. Along with yourselves. You can go to the Most High directly. Why would you put a man in the place between you and Yah, trusting him to right the wrongs of these heathens? Heathens don't know nothing about no right. You're the apple of Yah's eye, and they hate you because you are that apple. You are the forbidden fruit as far as they're concerned. What else can I say to you, sisters and brothers of faith? Time is running out. Guys, we don't have much time left. These people are about